said after meditation this morning, thank you by the way, selfish or selfless is the topic today. So again, I say to you, beloveds, good morning. Good morning. And what a grand and glorious sight you are to behold. Take that in. Take that in. And let's begin right now by taking it in a little more deeply. And I'd like each of you to behold the spiritual self within yourself, and then to look around at yourself in this room. Look at the eyes. If you're looking at someone, look into the eyes. One of my early exercises in this teaching was getting in touch with myself. And that was seeing myself in all others. Now, sometimes all others was the challenge. And then sometimes the own mirror, seeing myself as, was a challenge because I just wasn't feeling it. Anyone else? Yeah. So, when you behold your spiritual self, you are seeing the true. The true. That which is within you, in all others. It is you. It is you now. It is me, as all of us, as I. And when we get back to the I, not this one, although these are important step into the I, we come to a greater realization of that spiritual I in the word identity. So what is the same truth that is within us that we see in others? It's the truth about us that, this is an old statement, but I'm older than I, but it does set us free. The truth is what sets us free from doubt, from fear, and into absolute freedom. Now, this freedom to be, the freedom to be, not to do, the freedom to be and live our truth with a capital T, is to recognize and embrace your authentic self, which is your true self. And then, guess what? We have the opportunity to live it fully, to live in it. For it, this full life experience, is already given to us. I've tended to live on the perimeter of it. Of the perfect tone and tune and vibration of what is inside. So living in it is being in it fully, rather than just getting ready for summer and having a swimming pool. I dipped my toe for a while. Until finally, it works for me. It's the right temperature, right conditions. I jump in. That's living in something, fully embracing it, jumping into it, letting it envelop you in a loving way, and relishing it, and cherishing it, and dare I say, wallowing in it. I like to wallow in it. Some people wallow in pity. I've been there. I'll probably be there again. Because that being there again is part of my story that I'm going to share right now. I learned from a very young age to be a pleaser. Anyone else? Oh, yeah. Pleaser. I thought, if only I gave a little bit more or gave into the needs of others, all would be perfect. Right? Huh. Right. Thank you, Shill. Huh. And it was perfect for the others. I had denied that healthy balance of what I needed. No, not needed, rather required. See the difference? Required. And so soon after I stepped into this teaching, the science of mind, the first thing I heard from Dr. Carolyn, thoughts are things. And those thoughts become your experience. And they do so according to the strength of our belief in those thoughts. In other words, you got to have passion. How much passion do we put into a disagreement? We see a lot of it today, don't we? Click, click, oop, nope, click, off. I can create my own if I choose, but I'm not going to live anybody else's. I've learned that. So I began to pay closer attention and to examine my patterns of belief. And guess what I discovered? A few unbalanced ideas. Where I tended to default or regress into old patterns became quite evident. So as I went undercover, the discoveries that I noticed were transformative. And they continue to be, because it ain't over till it's over. So oftentimes in this teaching, earlier on for me at least, I would get to, oh, I got over that hurdle like a runner in a race. And it's like, uh-oh, there's another one. And there really is no finish line until we're finished on this earth. And so the beliefs are deep, and we tend to cover them up. So I'd like to imagine that, if you will, with me, that we're all spiritual archaeologists. And we're digging deep into our beliefs, discovering and uncovering the greater aspects of truth, like our King Tut or whatever, into the pyramid of our mind. You know, we have to find the way in. And sometimes the first access is not the real one. There's a dead end, as in a pyramid in Egypt. And there's twists and turns and ups and downs. It can be quite the journey. So how do we know when it's time to start digging? It's when whatever's happening out there is not up to what's happening in here. It's not appearing as we would like it to, as we think we want and deserve in here. It's looking totally opposite. So we want to blame others. We want to blame ourselves. We might say, oh, it's your fault, or it's my fault. And we start to beat ourselves up. I've done that. When you say, it's not my fault. Who's used that when it's a child? Not my fault. She did it. He did it. My brother or sister did that. I did that. The older we got, we were reminded of these certain things we blamed the other one for. Both of us started taking credit for it. I thought I did that. No, I did. What? No, I did that. So you see how a shift can happen. It's my default. It's what I default to when something isn't going the way I think it should, when there's time for something to be uncovered, and to remember that there's a deep down belief that needs to be uncovered, to be examined. That's hard, isn't it? We might come up with something that needs to be, I'll say, resolved. My first word was fixed. Resolved, and then to be realized that into this experience that we're defaulting to is a blessing because it's a reminder of what needs to happen. Yes? No matter how old and dusty and rusty or stinky, bless it for surfacing. Bless it for surfacing. Then you can ask the question of yourself, when did I accept this as being true for me? I can trace things back now that I know some techniques and methods, but it had to start somewhere after we were born. You know, we heard it, we experienced it, we saw it, we sensed it, we thought we saw it. So it's our blessing to say thank you. So no blame, no shame. It's a default. So today's title and lesson is the result of my latest dig. Selfish or selfless. So selfish by definition means it's more about me and what I want than about you. It's all about me. It's all about me. All. I don't care about you. It's all about me. Nope. Not going to hear it? Nope. All about me. I'm always right. You're always wrong. Right? Selfless. It's more about someone or something else. In my case, it was a need to be right, at the same time, deflect any possible threat of conflict. See what I used to do? But that's still my default. I have to be careful not to feel cornered, threatened. And I know what I do. I know what I do. But it's this first thing I do. So my feeling I would always get during those times was one of being diminished or unheard. Anyone else? You ever felt, they're not paying attention to me? The greatest gift that you can give another soul is to hear what they like and do that thing without them asking you, because you just know that you heard that. One of the biggest gifts is being heard, but we must listen. Bottom line, I was out of balance big time. And so, as a zodiac labeled Libran, anybody else look at their zodiac, their sign? I'm sure we all do. Sometimes it's fun, especially when I like it. Oh, that's not me for some. Oh, no. There it is again, you see. So, as a Libran, I've thought of that self as some sort of its hallmark traits, like the scales that symbolize the sign, which often are concerned with attaining balance. Attaining balance. Gotta have balance. Gotta have balance. Other traits are extroverted, cozy, friendly, peaceful, charming, and intelligence. What can I say? Now, those are easy to accept for oneself, the more positive affirmations. And I think that's good because that tells me, oh, there's ease in that. I can breathe that in. I don't push that away most of the time, do we? It feels good to wear it. Oh, and there's a couple of more on this list. It's frankness and persuasion. I didn't look those up. But I find it interesting to go different places when we're led, and I was led to this particular part of the lesson in the balance of all of that, because I think if we balance our selfish with our selfless, there in the middle somewhere is a balance that's good for us. Dr. Ernest Holmes clarifies balance in the textbook under the chapter on physical perfection. Quote, "A good psychological balance is struck when the will and the emotions are rightly poised. That is, when the intellect first decides what emotions are to respond to. After the intellect has made this decision, then the imagination is called into play and the game of living commences. After the intellect has made this decision, then the imagination is called into play and the game of living begins." So it is the office of the will. Can you just see that? Office, will, through that door, to determine that to which the imagination is to respond. How good is your imagination? Is it this big, or is it? There's always. Mine's pretty wide open. I think. Until I get to a door that I haven't opened yet. So, one of the most important things for us to remember is that we are always causing something to be created for us. Always. End quote. So let me ask you, are your experiences what you truly desire? Are you getting what you want, what you deserve, what you require? If not, I suggest you dig a little deeper to uncover your greater truth to realize that balance. Here's an idea. Call a practitioner. Call a practitioner. They do wonderful work. Actually, they don't do the work. They know the truth. Oh, truth. Anyone hear truth this morning? That word? Yeah, truth. They know the truth for us. And they realize that in truth, balance is now. Somewhere within all of that appearance of something lesser. And when you're with a practitioner, here's sort of a generic one-liner that I think works really well for most people. When you go in to sit before a practitioner, here could be a request. Something greater and more loving that keeps the doors wide open. Something greater than, what does that mean? Something greater than we can imagine. But Spirit's greater than that. And more loving. Opening to more love. And then we, the client, gets to be more open and receptive to the wonder of what is manifest. Wow. Wow. Many times what we think we want is not the want, it's the feeling that the want gives us. You got that? In lessons before, I treated for a car. Well, I got a great big pretty car, and the payment book was pretty great too. Yikes. I felt trapped. What I wanted was freedom, ease, forward motion. Didn't have to be that. Nothing wrong with that. But my consciousness was not that wide open yet. So when you realize balance between selfless and selfish, you get to uncover and discover. I discovered that both selfish and selfless contain the word self. Science of Mind, Dr. Holmes tells us on the self, quote, "The real self is God-given and cannot be denied. It is the place where God comes to a point of individualized and personified expression." That's all of us. Individuality means self-choice, volition, complete freedom, and a power to back up that freedom. End quote. I've uncovered that my word has power. So I choose to put the word out. First, with lots of thought, lots of clarity, and passion, and power, and emotion. When we require something of spirit, and we're mamby-pamby about it, what do we get? Mamby-pamby. Oh, gee, it'd be nice if I... No. Stop that. I'm talking to myself. Clarity is so important with the balance between the selfless and the selfish. Now, in the midst of my search, I also uncovered the word of truth for me, and I mentioned it earlier, it's freedom. I love the word freedom. That just resonates with me from 30 years ago. Freedom. And like a breath of air, freedom is effortless in its flow. Freedom. Let's say the word. Freedom. Let it go. Another time. Freedom. Doesn't that feel good? Felt good from up here. Thank you very much. Thank you. So another awareness of this freedom was that of living from truth, with a capital T, with an attitude of seva. Now I requested Reverend Kathy send me a copy of what she had received on seva, and I'm going to share it again today because I think it's appropriate in this balance of service, selfless and selfish. Seva is a Sanskrit word meaning selfless service, and literally translates as together with. It is performed without any expectation as a result, repayment, or award for performing it. And my little footnote here after that is, you mean I didn't need approval from anyone else? That I wasn't good enough? Oh, I guess not. So what seva is doing everything from a state of loving inner being, as something from our true and authentic self. Balance indeed. That's balance. In ancient India, seva was believed to help one's spiritual growth, where the act itself is a gift to everyone involved. Seva is the art of blessed action. So there it is. There it is. Living life as one continuous, in the present now moment. A blessed action. Balanced, whole, evolving now. In the book right now that we're speaking with and to and from, it's called Live True. I love this. Love the title. From Ora Nadrich. And she writes, and I quote, "Who are we to waste moments or assume they should be wasted? A moment gives us a brief moment to be fully present and to be our most authentic self before it completely vanishes like magic. Now you see it, now you don't. But this isn't a magic show. This is our life. It's very real and very short. Moments will keep appearing one after the other until we inhale our very last breath. But unfortunately, we take those moments for granted and waste them on negative, unproductive thoughts because we're not being true and authentic to ourselves." End quote. Powerful words. So I was reminded to find the balance and freedom in between all of this busy life. And I realized another powerful word in this balancing act between selfless and selfish. It just pops up like a piece of toast. And there's one word, a very powerful word. It is one word that is a complete sentence all by itself. It's one of the first words we learn as children because we hear it a lot from our parents. And it's a word my parents didn't like to hear from me. What was the word? No. No. That's the first word I remember hearing. No, don't do that. No, don't do that. So then I said, my mother asked me, I said, no. Don't tell me no. What does that do? See what it did for me? I couldn't say no. So I would say yes, even to things, situations, and to people I didn't want to say yes to. But no, in this case of balancing, I found, also means the opposite. Yes. Yes to something different. It's important to say no as an adult. No to that. Nope, nope. But I'm going to say yes over here to this. But in between the no and the yes, there's a pause to let that breath come through, to clarify what it is your yes is. Another line from Live True is, each moment of our life deserves our attention, or else they will leave us one by one like a forlorn lover, never having been given the best of who we are. Why be withholding or stingy with a moment that gives us the air to breathe, instead of being thankful that we are alive for another moment? The time we waste is the time we pray to be given when the end of life is near. The time we waste is the time we pray to be given when the end of life is near. Don't waste a moment. So, beloveds, find that perfect place, that balance for yourself. Say no when you know, K-N-O-W, and know a greater yes is about to emerge. Be present in each now moment. Why? To relish and wallow in your divinity. And remember, it's not your fault. It's your default. It's your default. Take a breath, please. Know you're loved. Know you're loved. And at this moment, I will invite the practitioners to move to the outside of the room and surround all of us in love. And I will be sharing a closing affirmation with you. And I invite you to close your eyes and repeat the affirmation. There will be several. So I'm going to go slow, and we're going to take this in. We're going to wallow in this, all right? Here we go. I know that I am one with God. Oh, that I am one with God. I know that God in me is perfect. I know that God in me is perfect. I know that my real nature is spiritual. I know. I know that I exist in a boundless good. Boundless. In a heavenly state and in perfect being. I know that my mind is being acted upon by pure spirit. Divine intelligence guides me into peace, happiness, and success, into joy, love, and perfect life. And so it is. Take a breath. Thank you, practitioners. Always, always